This is SportsCenter.
2,383 days after the last time he announced he was coming back, March 18, 1995, Michael Jeffrey Jordan comes back again. Back then, it was a 2-word press release. I'm back. This time, 11 words. I am returning as a player to the game I love.
You know what? It's a great day. It is a great day when Stuart Scott makes the show. But, guys, I can't believe it. It was 22 years ago since Michael Jordan came out of retirement for the second time. So this is where we're going to get going. I know you've been excited for this all day.
Oh, man, look at this.
Oh,
Michael
he grabbed it with 2 hands.
That he can still get up and play defense.
He grabbed it with 2 hands before it hit the backboard?
Malika, don't sleep on 38-year-old Michael Jordan, okay?
Hey, you know what? 38 is great.
Look at a young Ty Lue. Young Ty Lue there.
We love a young Ty Lue moment. And then we got another little top ankle breaker here.
Oh, no. No. Look at that. Michael looks so fresh. Look, as a DC kid for me who grew up watching the Bullets, it was amazing to see Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform.
Mark, is it more demoralizing when it happens and it's against a 38-year-old, or is it fine because it's Mike? Ooh, nice little finish there, some finesse.
Man, he could be 50. It's Michael Jordan. And you don't want me to put my feet up right now because you might just see something ashy. You know, when you're at home, you don't wear no shoes.
We won't ask you to, but we will ask you to take a look at this top game winner.
Oh, and look at the fist pump, Malika, the classic vintage fist pump.
Yep.
This is the thing.
Tongue out, too.
This is the thing that you talk about, Spears. These young kids all wanted to show up Michael, too.
Yeah.
And they got a dose of the airness.
Yeah, he said, children, your time's coming, but Lord, I'm still going right now.
I was at this game. Look at a young RJ getting schooled by the greatest of all time. Look, RJ had hair, Malika.
That's how long ago it was. Dropped 45 on Richard. Well, it wasn't just on Richard, but I'm going to say on Richard in this game.
You can say it was on Richard.
This is my favorite clip of the day. Mark, I mean, we're talking about 2 decades later. What's your lasting impression from Jordan in Washington? Because I feel like that part kind of gets, the greatness gets pushed aside a little bit because of everything he did in Chicago.
You know, I'm glad to see those replays, man. It's like the Wizard Jordan stuff is like lost tapes in a vault with Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. You know, like you just never see this stuff. But my best memories with him were in Atlanta during the 2003 NBA All-Star game. I thought it was absolutely amazing event to be at. And even with all the venom between Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas actually played a role in convincing Vince Carter to give up his starting position for Michael Jordan. The fans actually didn't vote Michael Jordan in as a starter, but Vinsanity, as you guys know, was crazy at that time.
Yep.
So Jordan comes in, has this amazing game. Mariah Carey sings at halftime wearing a Wizards dress, and I'm sure could fetch a lot of money on eBay.
It was half Wizards, half Bulls, if you remember.
Bryant
right down the middle, Spearsy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, Kobe played tough defense on him at the end of the game, but the West won in overtime, and Kevin Garnett got MVP. But that was, of all the All-Star games I covered, that certainly one of the ones that was at the top of the list, just because it was the Jordan show.
You are in on all things Michael Jordan. What do you remember most from the Wizards era?
I mean, I was there at the press conference when he announced when he came back. It was incredible in Washington, D.C. to see that he was going to be a Wizard. But I will never forget the night of New Year's Eve where I was there covering the New Jersey Nets, and old Michael Jordan absolutely turned the clock back and lit up the Nets. Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin. Yep. Michael would say after the game, Kenyon Martin made a mistake by telling him that he had a bad back. In classic Michael Jordan form, he used that as motivation to torch them. He scored 45 points. Jason Kidd, I asked him a couple years ago, what were some of the greatest individual performances he's ever seen? He mentioned this one and Reggie Miller against the Knicks, but he said this one, he said it was like a 45-year-old Michael Jordan, really, he was 38, okay? It was a 45-year-old Michael Jordan dropping 45 on us. He was talking trash to us. He was mid-ranging us to death and jelly rolling us to death, and it was incredible to watch. And, of course, I loved watching RJ getting torched by Michael Jordan. That was great. I do have one more story. During the pandemic, when Jordan came out with the 30 for 30, I had an assignment to do, how do young players today know who Michael Jordan is? And I talked to Rick Brunson. And Rick Brunson told me this story about Jalen Brunson, and Jalen confirmed it, that when Jalen used to go watch his dad play, he would always wear a jersey of that team. Rick Brunson played on a lot of teams, Malika, but at this time he was playing with the Wizards, so he bought a Michael Jordan jersey, a number 23 brand new white jersey. Rick Brunson took him in the locker room, introduced him to Patrick Ewing, and Patrick Ewing said, hey, do you want Michael Jordan to sign that to autograph that jersey? Yeah. Michael comes over and says, do you want me to autograph the jersey? Jalen Brunson doesn't know who Michael Jordan is and said, no, you'll ruin the jersey. No! This is 5-year-old Jalen Brunson, okay? So obviously to this day, he still regrets that, but yes, he did turn down the GOAT and said, I don't want you to ruin this jersey.
He said, I don't want you to ruin it.
Wow.
How much crap does he still take for that now?
Wow.
That is absolutely incredible. So Michael Jordan played in all 82 games, Ohm, in his final season. I don't want to do, and I don't want to do the, like, you know, LeBron's also 38. Michael Jordan was 38 at that point. Michael took some time out, But with the new sort of player resting policy, all of this sort of coming into focus here, I think it's a completely different era, right, when you're talking about the wear and tear on your body, but it still feels like there's a piece where that fits into the discussion, Ohm.
Yeah, look, it was a badge of honor back then that you played 82 games. You didn't want to sit games. Michael also knew that every single time he went out, much like LeBron understands this too, the entire arena was looking to watch him. Yeah. There were people that paid tickets to see him, especially on this comeback. This was their last chance to see Michael Jordan, and he played through a lot of pain, a lot of aches. I think Ty Lue will tell, I think he said it recently on a podcast, that Michael always seemed to be hurt, but the amount of pain he played through was incredible. But he did it every night. And then there were nights where they were special. Look, I think a lot of people look back at the time and they think, oh, Michael was horrible with the Wizards. He should have never came back. I loved every minute of it because we got to see the greatest of all time continue his career a little bit longer. It was almost like a gift that he gave us because when he retired, nobody was ready for him to retire. Nobody wanted to see him retire. So to see him play again was awesome.
To see him play again and to see him say again, Mark, look, I still have a little bit left in the tank here.
Yeah, you know, and the sad thing was, and I hate to, you know, be a grim reaper on this, but the way the Wizards pushed him out, and I still remember, I think, the picture in the Washington Post where he was like in his convertible with stuff from his office. It's, I'm challenging you. I asked Wilbon to do that. Somebody's got to write a book about those years with Jordan with the Wizards, man. I mean, to me, that's an additional 30 for 30. It was just incredible. Kind of at the beginning of my career, being around him. I was just too late in the game to build any kind of relationship with him. But just to at least be in the scrum, and that's Michael Jordan, is certainly something I'll never, ever forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely got ugly at the end there with A. Poland, and you didn't want to see that. And because remember he had moved up, he was in management as well, kind of making moves. So yeah, that was definitely a bad part to the ending there.
NBA